Hi everybody, Beth Combs here with Canyon Community Yoga. I thought I would go ahead and at least start the video. We won't be starting class for a minute or so, so feel free to get settled, get your mat rolled out if it's not already, and if you happen to have a yoga strap or a belt, even even a belt from a robe would be helpful for this practice. We're going to be doing some leg stretching on our backs, and it might be helpful to have the strap as opposed to just holding the pose. But if you don't have that, I'll give you directions on how to do the poses without having a strap available. And hopefully, looks like a bluebird sky right now, so I'm hoping that that continues. And um, I did yoga in the rain yesterday morning because I didn't have time to set up an alternate location for class. So we'll see if monsoon season decides to move in. And if there is any thunder, then I might have to cut class short just for safety reasons. So we will see what Mother Nature is going to allow us to do for our practice today. So um, I have been just running around all day trying to check a lot of things off of my to-do list, and I'm feeling pretty exhausted mentally. But there are times when I feel this way, and it's really helpful to just step on my mat and to begin practicing and just see what comes up, see what poses my body prefers to do. And so we're going to just try to keep moving and flowing for about 30 minutes. So we should run from 6 to 6:30 tonight. And hopefully you can work out the kinks from your own work week and set yourself up for success to get you through the rest of the week ahead of us. So we'll go ahead and we will get started on our mat since it's after 6 now. If you're joining me live, feel free to post an emoji or whatever you might feel like posting on the link here, just so we know that you're here. And if you're watching the replay, please feel free to also comment whenever you manage to be able to do this practice. So we're going to go ahead and start in our seated position. I'm going to grab my block because my hips are pretty tight and this just feels better. Actually, I'm going to, instead of seated cross-legged, we're going to do Virasana. So we're going to actually sit on our calves. If you've got blocks, you could actually place them in between your ankles, so kind of squeezing them with your ankles. I like to use 2 blocks here because I've got a lot of tension in my knee, and I actually enjoy this pose a lot more than seated cross-legged pose, but my knees don't necessarily. So I try to make it as comfortable as possible for my body. So go ahead, and if this is still too much tension for you, you can always just go back to seated cross-legged. So yogi's choice here. We're gonna go ahead and sit on our blocks, maybe a blanket under your butt. You want your knees pointing straight in front of you, so you don't want them splayed out to the side or knocking in towards each other. Actually using the shins to kind of stabilize yourself a little bit more. And you can sit with your hands in your lap. You can also sit with your palms facing down on the thighs, or if you're feeling a little more receptive this evening, you could actually flip the palms to face the sky. So again, check in with your body, see what you're kind of craving this evening. You can even close your eyes to settle in and prepare for your practice this evening. Maybe begin to focus on the breath. And our theme for tonight's practice is just trying to find the joy in our bodies, in our practice, in our day, just searching for the juiciness. We don't always have to make it a discipline. We don't always have to make it really hard on ourselves. I think A lot of us do that most of the time, day in and day out, and it's important to take time to practice gratitude and to really engage with the playfulness of life and the joyfulness that life can hold for us if we're willing to take the time to reflect and think about it a little bit more. So, as we go through our poses tonight, I would like to invite you to find the juiciness in each pose, to find the joy in each pose. Even if you're having a hard time or struggling, if it's a little bit of a challenge for you, see the light and the good that comes with each pose that we're going to be practicing this evening. To connect with our breath a little bit more, feel free to relax your jaw, release the tongue from the roof of your throat. Maybe allow the exhale to lightly stroke the back of your throat. And this is our Ujjayi breath, so it might sound like ocean waves crashing or Darth Vader breath, as I like to call it. So we want to make sure we're rooting our sits bones into whatever we're sitting on. And then we're going to lengthen up the crown of the spine all the way out the crown of the head. The jaw is parallel to the ground. Then we'll take our right hand, place it on our right hip. We'll inhale, bring the left arm up alongside the left ear, and then exhale over to the right any amount. So again, keep both sits bones still connected to whatever you're sitting on, whether it's a mat or block or a blanket. Maybe gaze up under that left arm to stretch the neck, if your neck will allow it. If your neck is really tight, you can always feel free to just gaze straight ahead. Then we'll inhale, come back to center, and then we'll switch sides. So left hand on the left hip. Inhale the right arm up alongside the right ear, and then exhale over to the left any amount. You can place your hand on the mat if you'd like. Just don't put a lot of weight or pressure into that left hand. If you are going to do that, you need to make sure your wrist is flat, your palm is flat on the mat. You can gaze up under that right arm. We'll inhale, we'll come back up. And then we're going to take a little twist here. So we'll inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, place the left hand on the right thigh and rotate over to the right. Maybe you can gaze back over that right shoulder. Should feel a nice stretch in the neck here. Always find when I've been working on the computer all day, any kind of neck or shoulder stretch is definitely welcome. Inhale, come back to center, and then we'll switch sides. So we'll inhale, sit up nice and tall, and then exhale, rotate to the left. Right hand on the left thigh, left hand on the hip. Maybe gaze over that left shoulder, back behind you. Then we'll inhale, and we'll come back to center. And then we'll go ahead and come up off our blocks. And we'll come into tabletop position. So wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. The tops of our feet are flat on the mat. We're pressing our shins and our feet into the mat. And we're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow here. So we'll inhale and lift our forehead and our tailbone up. Then exhale, pull the belly button back towards the spine and round the back. Inhale, bring the forehead and the tailbone back up. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, pull back. And then take 2 more rounds following your own breathing pattern. And then we'll all meet back in tabletop position. And we'll set up for our little abdominal warm up here. So we're going to bring the right fingertips out in front of us, bring the left toes back behind us. We'll inhale, and on the next exhale, we're going to lift the right arm and the left leg up off the mat while pulling the belly button in towards the spine, pressing through that left heel, reaching through those right fingertips. We'll take 3 rounds of breath here. Then we'll exhale, lower everything down. We'll switch sides, so left fingertips out in front, right toes back behind. We'll inhale, and then exhale, we're going to lift the left arm and the right foot up off the mat. Again, pressing through the right heel, reaching through the left fingertips. You don't want your leg way up in the air. You want it in line with your hip. One more breath here. Then we'll exhale. We'll lower everything down. Then we're going to come into child's pose. So you can bring the shins together and lower the torso down over the thighs. Or you can keep the big toes touching, widen the knees, and then lower the torso down. You're going to extend the arms out in front of you and keep the elbows lifted up off the mat. And place the forehead down on the mat. You want to reach your tailbone towards your heels. They don't have to actually touch, they just need to go in that direction. You can also grab a block and place it under your forehead to bring you up, your head up a little bit higher and drop your tailbone down a little bit more. I also find it's very comforting to have a little bit more pressure on that third eye in between your eyebrows. Then we'll inhale, we'll come back up to tabletop position. Then we're going to walk the hands 1 palm's distance in front of us, and then we're going to flip the toes onto the mat and pull our hips up and back in downward facing dog. And you can pedal your feet out here or walk the dog. We're going to take 5 breaths here. And then we're going to step the feet up in between the hands. And then we're going to hang in our forward fold. So bend the knees here if your hamstrings are tight. You can clasp the elbows if you'd like. Shake your head no and nod your head yes. And then we'll bend the knees here. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up and around, and exhale the hands at heart center. So we'll do just a little bit of some energy medicine work here next. This is a great exercise if you are feeling just really anxious, or if you've got any kind of challenges in your luteal phase and you struggle with PMS and just feeling kind of out of control. I know I find this where I just feel super overwhelmed or just super agitated about things. So we're going to bend our knees slightly, and we're going to inhale, and we're going to lift the arms up, and then exhale and exhale through the mouth. as we swing our arms down around us. So we'll inhale and come up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale to come up. Exhale to fold forward. We got 2 more here. 1 more. And then you can just bring the arms back up and then exhale the hands down to heart center. Next, we'll go ahead and do our sun salutations. So we'll stand at the top of the mat with our feet hip distance apart. We're going to inhale and sweep the arms up. Then we're going to exhale and fold forward. Inhale and lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, and you're going to plant the hands and step the feet back and lower into tabletop, and then lower the torso all the way down to the mat. All 10 toes are pressing into the mat. You're going to pull the tailbone towards the heels and inhale just your torso up to cobra. And then you're going to exhale and pull the hips back to downward facing dog, and you can go through tabletop to get there. So in downward facing dog, you actually want the weight even between your hands and your feet. Then we'll step the feet up in between the hands. We're going to inhale and lift the torso halfway up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway. Exhale, step back and lower down to tabletop or chaturanga, all the way to the mat. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels. Inhale up to cobra. And then exhale, pull back to downward facing dog. Then we'll step the feet up in between the hands. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. We're going to do that 3 more times. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, step the feet back. Lower down to tabletop or chaturanga. Either way, all the way to the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels. Inhale and come to cobra or upward facing dog with the legs lifted up off the mat. And then exhale, pull back to down dog. So you also want to make sure the weight in your hands in down dog is mostly between your index fingers and your thumbs. So you want to be making an L shape with those hands. Spread the fingertips nice and wide apart from each other. We're going to take 3 to 5 breaths in down dog. And if it is just too challenging to hold down dog, or you get tired going through any of these flows, you can always lower down into child's pose. And then we're going to step the feet up in between the hands. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. We've got 2 more here. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, lower down to tabletop or chaturanga, all the way down to the mat. Inhale, come up to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. And then we'll step the feet up in between the hands. Inhale, the torso halfway up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. We've got 1 more here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, step back, lower down, all the way to the mat. Inhale up to cobra or upward facing dog with the knees lifted, and then exhale, come back to downward facing dog. 5 breaths here. So we'll step the feet up in between the hands at the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. Take a couple breaths here. And then we're going to go ahead and step the feet 3 to 4 feet apart. We'll face the long edge of our mats. We're going to set up for wide-legged forward fold. So we'll start with our hands on our hips. Our feet are 3 to 4 feet apart. The weight of our bodies is actually even between all 4 corners of our feet. We want to pull the quadriceps up away from the kneecaps. We're going to lift the chest up towards the sky on an inhale. And then we're going to exhale and fold forward any amount. So you could place blocks here to steady you, or you can place your hands on the mat. You can allow your head to lengthen. Head and neck lengthens toward the mat. Then we'll place our hands on our hips and inhale, bring the torso all the way back up. Next, we're going to do a shoulder stretch in addition to our leg stretch. So we're going to take the hands and clasp them behind us. Thumbs are resting on our tailbone. We're going to lift that heart up towards the sky. Inhale. And then exhale and fold forward any amount. So you can start here. You can pick the hands up or the fist up off the tailbone if you'd like. You can even extend the arms further away from your chest, but you have to make sure that the base of your palms are connected and still touching. Once they separate, you need to bring your hands back in closer to your tailbone because you're going to injure your shoulder. I love this stretch for shaking out the computer hunch from the day. Next, you're going to use your strength of your legs, and you're going to inhale and bring the torso back up to center. And then you can step back up toward the top of the mat. And we're going to do a couple rounds of Sun Salutation B here. So we'll see if the thunder lets me finish this class. We've got 7 minutes. We'll see what happens. All right, so we are going to lower into chair pose. That means we're going to sink our seat down towards the mat. We want the tailbone pointing towards the ground. We want to make sure our knees are not beyond our toes. So if you cannot see your toes, you need to stand up a little bit more. So this is chair pose, but this is chair pose too. So just listen to your body and see where you can meet the pose this evening. We're going to inhale and sweep the arms up. Then we're going to exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to tabletop or chaturanga. Lower all the way to the mat. Toes flat on the mat, tailbone pointing towards the heels. And then we can inhale up to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, pull back to downward facing dog. We're going to pick the right foot a couple feet up off the mat, and then we're going to exhale and place it in between the hands. If you have blocks, you can use them here on either side of your foot. If you're feeling pretty steady, then you can bring your hands up to your bent knee. See if you can gaze about 10 feet in front of you. If you're feeling a little wobbly, go ahead and pull the belly button in towards the spine. You can also bring the arms up alongside the ears. Then we'll exhale, fold forward, step back to down dog. Then we'll inhale, lift the left foot a couple feet off the mat, and then exhale, place that in between your hands. You can always lower the back knee too, or place the hands on blocks or on the mat on either side of the foot. Bring the hands up to the bent knee. Maybe bring the arms up alongside the ears. And again, if this hip flexor is really tight, you don't need to crank your torso back. You can put your body in a diagonal. Just make sure you're pressing through that right heel and reaching through those fingertips. Pressing into that left heel. You can even lift the toes to really engage that heel. Make sure your knee is tracking above that left ankle. Then we'll exhale, plant the hands, step back to down dog, take a few breaths here. Then we'll step the feet up in between the hands. We'll inhale the torso halfway up. Exhale to fold forward. This time we're going to inhale, we're going to lower into chair pose with our arms alongside our ears. Then we're going to exhale to come to standing and bring the hands to heart center. Take a couple breaths here. And then we're going to go ahead and lay down on the mat with our strap. And we're going to do some leg stretches here. So we're going to bring the right knee into the chest. We'll take the strap, if you have it, around the bottom of the right foot. We're going to extend the right leg up towards the sky. We're also going to press that left foot, really press through the heel of the left leg, press through the heel of the right leg. And we're just going to take a hamstring stretch here. So if the back of your thigh right here is very tight, you can bend your knee. And if you don't have a strap, you can just extend the leg. So just pretend I don't have a strap. If you don't have one, you can still get a hamstring stretch. You can actually hold on to the back of your leg if you need a little assistance. Then we're going to grab the strap, put both sides of the strap in the left hand, and then we're going to slide the right leg across our bodies. This stretches the outer thigh and the IT band area, although the IT band doesn't actually stretch because it's a tendon, but it is stretching the hip and the knee area, which are attached to the IT band. Then we'll inhale, come back to center, and then we're going to change the strap into our right hand and then bring the right leg out to the right any amount. Just press your left hand into your left hip and ensure that that hip is still connecting with the mat. So if it's not, you need to bring your foot up a little bit higher. Then we'll inhale, bring it back to center, and then we're going to release the strap off the right leg, and then we're going to slowly lower it to the mat, get a little abdominal work here. And then we'll switch sides. So the left foot next, strap around the left foot. We're going to Press through the right heel, press through the left heel. Feel free to bend the knee again if your left hamstring is tight. Otherwise, extend your legs straight. You can place your hand on the right hip just to help make sure it stays down. You can slowly bring that left leg closer to your nose or your torso. Then we're going to take our strap and we're going to cross our body. You can place the left hand down on the mat if you'd like, or next to the mat. As you can see, I do not have to go very far because I have so much tightness in my hip, in my IT band area. I've been told my IT band is like concrete. So I just go as far as I feel the sensation. Some people, they might have to go much further. I am not one of those people. Inhale, come back up, and then exhale. Release the left leg out to the left. Again, take that right hand, press that right hip to make sure it stays down on the mat. Then you can inhale and come back up. You can release the strap and then slowly lower the left leg down. And then we'll go ahead and set up for Shavasana. So you can allow the legs to splay open a comfortable distance. You can allow the hands out about 45 degrees, or you could bring the arms up to cactus arms, especially if you've been working on the computer or driving a lot today. This might feel a lot better. So just try a few different options and see what's going to work best for you this evening. What feels the juiciest? Begin to lengthen your inhales and exhales. Go ahead and roll over to your right side. And then bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Feel free to close your eyes, bring your hands together at heart center. So I hope you were able to find some joy and some juiciness in your practice this evening. The compassion, the light, and the love in me honors the compassion, the love, and the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me this evening. Namaste. All right, hope you all have a great week ahead, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.